Micro, I'm out in the morning and I have my breakfast, and I've been sleeping out here at night since it's been so hot. So I'm just going to turn this around, and here we are. It's my dog Luna. This is the little gazebo that I made. Very simple design, approximately 12 by 12. Yeah, going to give you a quick walkthrough. So this would be part one of what would Jesus do to help the homeless in America. What would he do, right? What would the Holy Spirit do? And one of the beautiful things about this concept, this is a frame that's inserted, so I could take it out and I'd be able to change, put lattice work in or whatever. One of the big changes on this four-poster design is going to make this single 2x6 into a three-way, into with a spacer with two outside 2x6s. That way I'll be able to put a cross beam in as to help stabilize, right? And the 2x6s that make up the raised bed on the bottom, I have three there. You could actually put a drop floor in. So as you raise your floor, maybe 2x6 framework to about here, inch and a half above, and I'll show you later once I start drawing up the designs. But once the floor is in, then you can actually begin to build. You can actually have the floor even with this, to where you would have a this here and this here would lock together, so you could actually build your walls up and make the interior of the cabin, without having to disassemble anything. So you can make the gazebo, perfect that design. You may have to incorporate some kind of metal superstructure under the raised beds, so you actually can position them. See, if I was going to take this unit and bring it out to here, there's a little bit of a slope here, right? But if you have a metal cladding on here that would go under, like a cradle, you could have your manual jacks here. Means you could, when you set this up, you could set your planters to level, drop in your floor, and complete the work. And so this 12 by 12 unit, it's around 10 foot tall. It could easily be made into a sleeper for 4 people. You could have 2 people here, 2 people here, and still have enough room for, say, a shower, bath, even in a sauna there, right? So this would be a fully sustainable sleeper cabin for 4 people. You could even go 12 by 16 and be able to take people off the street and train them. And when I was doing the contemplating on this a few minutes ago, I kind of seen an inner vision inside my mind, and I saw 2 crews of 6 people each. 2 crews of 6 people each, and with the first crew actually building all the components for the cabin, while the second crew was building the gazebo superstructure first, and then building the floor, the drop floor, the 4 walls, and the gables, and the roof assembly. Because it's designed as a air envelope system, right? The second crew was doing that. And so all these raised beds, to make it into an air envelope system, you may have to widen the raised beds, right? and you'd actually encapsulate this in a framework with double polycarbonate panels. So this would be like a little micro greenhouse here. The other side would be the same. I'm from British Columbia, Canada. That used to be my license plate back in 2016 when I was working on the Job technology for unlimited heat. My dog is so gentle. Isn't that beautiful? I just love gardening. I've been having trouble with a lot of CM. You get the white mildew on the leaves, but this garden's coming to an end, but it keeps growing. It's unbelievable. But you actually have a cabin and you're growing your food at the same time. I think that's quite remarkable. I'll be saving the seeds from these guys. And I'll be getting lots of tomatoes. I have to get all these canned up. I picked them a week ago. And I got more to pick. They sure are good. So what do you think? So once the gazebo concept and the cabin concept is integrated and complete, where you could take this and set it up even on level land. It's a kit, right? It's a kit. It would have to go on to a 16-foot trailer or a transport truck. 16-foot trailer would be more preferable. So this would make up one end of a binary design. So this would be the 12 by 12 sleeper unit. Then you would have an in-between. The in-between would be a honeycomb neck piece, right? With the honeycomb being flat on the top and the bottom. So that would go on as an insert or a passageway where you could walk into the center unit where I'm standing here. So here you would have a 12 by 16 unit. Maybe you could go wider profile. You could probably even go up to take a little bit of doing, even a 24 feet wide, so a 24 by 16. That's kind of nice for a place where the women can come and prepare dinner, because you're going to have, 4 to 6 people there, 4 to 6 people here, and you might be able to convert these where you actually have an upper loft area. It'd be nice to be able to accommodate at least 4, if not 6 people per cabin. So that's 12 people for this community. I'm not sure what to call this yet. So you'd have a 12 by 12, 144 square feet. We'd have an 8-foot pop out, 64 square feet. Then you could have a 12 by 16. I think that's 96 square feet. You could make it bigger, plus the same on that end. So altogether, you probably would have close to 60 feet, maybe 70 feet. And where the joiners are, it's actually where you would have your wood stoves. Right? Remember, this is an entirely portable concept where you take people off the street, and within 30 days, if they last that long, they would be trained professionals to replicate the work. So you would have a ready-made business, and so their portion, you're exchanging labor for a place to stay and food to eat, initially, right? If you want to get a vision off the ground, sometimes you have to make sacrifice. Okay, I think this pretty well wraps up this portion. I'm turn this around again. So That's the vision that Jesus has put in my heart. You know, what would Jesus do to help resolve the homeless situation in America? President Trump's doing a remarkable job taking them off the street. And, you know, those that need help get the required help. But what about after? What's the end goal? Do you open up the FEMA camps? Is that going to become their place to stay or end up in a prison? You know, there's a better solution. You need to take people off the street and, you know, where they can get help that they need, right? But the ones that make the grade can transition to start being the labor pool to start making these micro camps. These, you know, where they could easily be trained. The work is simple enough. So I'm looking for professionals out there that could take my two-dimensional blueprints and put it together into a 3D CAD form and, if possible, a virtual reality. So that's what I need right now. And like the work is simple enough. I could take people off the street, you know, take the men or the women, if they have a little bit of building skill, those skills could be enhanced, right? It basically all comes down to having the proper workshop. That could be done with a truck with fold outs. You could have a portable workshop, everything's set up, and everything is jigged. Like on this cabin here, you got the 12, the planter boxes, right? That could be like phase one. And the posts here would be a tri-beam where you'd have open pockets for your cross members. So that would be phase two, where they would drop on, and then you'd have your these here cross beams up here would be incorporated. So that would make one side of your gazebo. You twin it off, you drop in your floor, it's level and square, and then you start to frame out your roof, right? And for that, you would need, the way I did this here, I put bridging going across. I had to make bridging here and bridging there, then I put my scaffold going across, and that worked out good. Yeah, it was strong, and on the sides I was able to take a couple people. I did this by myself, and two people will make it a lot easier, but it's doable. This gives you a next skeleton structure. It's all square and level. You could use it as a place to sleep. I love sleeping out here. It would be a temporary place for people that are just come off the street. They would have a place to stay. You could easily have 4 people here in this little gazebo. And with the floor, you're able to put in your restroom area and all that. So it's fully functional unit. And, you know, by the end of 30 days or 40 days, I could easily train a crew, two crews of 6, to be able to manufacture or to fabricate. One crew would be able to fabricate 1 unit per day. One would build the gazebo, and the other one would build the components, the floor and 4 walls and the ceiling that makes up this, which morphs it into a actual living space. Maybe, yeah, I think once you got your jigs perfected, it does not take long. You can build a wall. Remember, you got 6 people working, right? And if you got your jigs all set up, you can turn on a wall in 20 minutes. That's a matter of being able to cut all your parts, polish them up, stain them or whatever, right? Once all your components are done, the assembly takes no time to make this two-planter design with the four posters and the cross rails on the front and back, you know. But you should be able to do it. You got 6 people at an 8-hour day, and you're able to get a week's work in. But the jigs is what makes the multiplies, vastly reduces your fabrication time once you got it all perfected. So this is what the Lord has put in my heart to help resolve the homeless crisis, right? Doing my part. And there will be it. The times we're coming into, there's going to be the housing crash. We know it's coming. You're going to have many people that own homes now. The banks are going to take what they have. So this would be no alternative, not just for those who lost their way on the streets, for the vets, but also for the middle class about to lose their homes. And if we all work together under the love of God, these, you can take half an acre, you can make that into a nice 40, 50 micro community, or even allow an acre. That would give room for dogs and everything. And the whole concept's portable. The whole entire concept is portable. It will provide work for those that are on the street. They can be trained. It's a matter of investing, having a plan, keeping to the plan, perfecting the plan. And within the first 40 days, those who are part of the crew would have their own accommodations bought and paid for, right? A month's labor, or say 40 days labor would pay for your place, for a place for you to stay. You have to remember there's time coming where the people on the street, you multiply that 7 times. That's what's coming. You're going to see millions of Americans on the street in the days ahead, wandering from place to place. So this is a simple refuge, a place of safety that can go up, where you take those that have a little bit of potential, give them a hand up, and to where you're working together to build a vision for Kinley. We're about to see a harvest that's going to, God's going to gather in the wheat. God's going to gather in his bride. But they're going to need a place to stay. They're going to need a place where they can not have just their physical provision, but also a place where they can be taught things of the Lord. Revelations 12:5 talks about the man-child will bring the woman of Revelations 12 into the wilderness to be fed the hidden manna for a period of 1,260 days, 3.5 years. And I believe we're about to cross into that initial 42 months to bring in the harvest. So this completes part 1. I didn't want to go this long. I was looking at 10 minutes, but it's a good intro. I would like to hear from you. This is cost effective, and it's going to do the work. But I need a little bit of help when it comes to the animation, 3D CAD drawings, virtual reality. So I'm going to leave it here. And once I get the 2D blueprints engineered, I could give you a run through. I'm going to leave it here. God bless.